Thank you, City Manager. Council comment. Councilman Stuchell.
Yeah, I just want to update everybody on the Luminary walk was last night, and the weather didn't cooperate and all that, but it was quite successful. There was a lot of learning going through this, but again, the intent was to connect the hospital and the college. The hospital had people out there, and so did the college. Hillsdale Street was phenomenal. Everything from, I think, Handmade, at least up to Vear Street on both sides of the street was covered, so they did a really wonderful job. The south side of House Street was well done. The south part of Budlawn was also well done. I'll even go as far as say that probably one of the best decorated Christmas houses on Broad Street had some, but it's hard to see through all the Christmas decorations. So, Hillsdale County National Bank took on 2 blocks. St. Anthony, with the help of the Catholic Society, some college students took on a whole block. I attempted to do the wedge, and I failed. I probably had 100 some out there, but wet and wind, and so that didn't work very well. So I just want to take my hats off to Gene Heisey and my wife Heather Triska, because they did a lot of work up front of that. So I think it was a success, even despite the weather, and definitely want to build on it for next year. And I think Drew said he sold 4,000 bags. So had a lot of good cooperation, and ideally this expands, yeah. So this expands. I said, we'll have an event to come to at Hillsdale once a year. So very good. Thank you.
Exactly. Like all traditions usually have a hiccup or so first couple years, but people stick with it, and it builds and it builds. So I thought it was an awesome effort. So anybody else? Councilman Vear.
For the light up parade, I had the honor to work with the public service on setting up the barriers for the parade, both kind of staging them in the morning, and the amount of work that entails, getting all those barriers up. I think my eyes were open a little bit, but in that, because it is a many people effort. I know Scott Hepner with the police department setting up barriers, tearing them down. Actually, when we were tearing them down, it's pretty dark. The squad cars coming up, giving you some protection with their lights and everything. But one thing became perfectly clear when I was doing this with Frank, a public service employee, was that the DPS building that houses all the trucks that they need to do all the services that this council requires them is at the least very inadequate as far as space. Because when they park the trucks in there, they actually don't have any lanes left, because they have to put all the trucks in to where they have to spend time just removing trucks to get access to other trucks. And I think in this upcoming budget, if we could find some way to give them a little bit better working space where that would make them much more efficient on their time, and they aren't wasting time moving vehicles so they can get at what they need to, whether it be the road closure signs and barriers. I think it would be very beneficial, because also we're requiring them to do a lot more, and would make them able to accomplish that in a much more efficient manner.
Thank you, Councilman Vear, for that enlightening information. And thanks for helping with the light up parade. That's awesome. Councilman Socha.
And he helped out with the Veterans Day event as well. So thank you for that. I just wanted to say I'm opposed to the governor's trying to get Michigan to be, or signed into law that Michigan will be green energy only by 2040. Because my sister lives in Southern California, and their governor passed similar legislation recently, and her gas bill has gone up 50%, her electric bill has gone up 50 or 60%, her water bill has gone up 50 or 60% in the last 2 years. And this is what green energy policies do, and green energy is a misnomer, and it's really irritating to me that it keeps getting propagated as this clean and efficient alternative to oil or coal, for that matter. The new filters on coal power plants make it an extremely clean and an efficient medium, and there's plenty of coal. right in our backyard. Same with the natural gas power plants, same with nuclear energy. And then here we are encouraging our residents to adopt solar panels just because we're even discussing it and putting it in an ordinance. And as far as I remember, Mr. Moore, and God bless him, he has a great project that was very successful, but he rarely pays any money to the BPU anymore. So the BPU's actually lost a customer. And we receive a substantial portion of our budget from the BPU's pilot payment. So this is a conundrum that I can see could be a catastrophic locally and especially statewide. And the only way I know to overturn what the governor signed would be legislatively, which isn't going to happen with a democratically controlled government, or through a petition to be signed by 600,000 residents and then put on the ballot. And we can make it into law that Michigan won't be a green state. But remember, every solar panel has to be manufactured with oil-producing products. Every wind turbine has to be manufactured with oil-producing products. Every battery for these electric vehicles has to come from a strip mine and produced with oil-producing products. And so I would encourage us as a council, us as a city, and our constituents to really look into the true cost of this green energy and see if there's something that we can do collectively to go back to our state government and say, this is too far, we need to reverse these things. And as far as locally for us, for example, this law that the governor passed, if we pass something locally, the state has the authority to overturn it through that law. So we're no longer the governing authority as far as electricity is concerned for our own municipal utility in certain scenarios if the powers that be in Lansing deem it so. So I just want us to be aware of these things, and especially that green energy is a misnomer and it's actually a lie, and it should be refuted at every level, and I choose to do that tonight.
Thank you, Councilman Socha. Any more comments?
Enough of the dread, boo and all that. Let's have a feel-good talk. Company I work for just recently took a pickup truck, fixed it up, turned around and sold it. Then they went out and bought $6,000 worth of coats, winter coats. Took them to the Salvation Army and dropped them off. Didn't want any credit for it. They just did it out of the kindness of their heart. And I think that's the kind of thing we need more around Hillsdale. And I'm proud to work for that company. I won't mention their names because they don't want the publicity, but you all know where I work. And I think that's great what they did. That's what we need more people to do, to take care and help other people when they're down. And that $6,000 and all those coats they took will help people. And I appreciate working for them. And I just wanted to let you guys know they did this. Thank you.
That's awesome, Councilman Sharp. Thank you for sharing that. Any more council comment? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion on the floor from Councilman Vear, seconded by Councilwoman Pratt to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Meeting is adjourned.